this is the environmental sustainability. This is for this is topic 7, energy management. So this is a lot of quote from very famous people. So the idea of environment sustainability is to leave the earth in as good or better shape for future generation than we found it for ourselves. So why is the idea that we need to sustain our environment? So previously we do not have this sort of knowledge to want to sustain our environment. We are only thinking of how to get more production, get more money. That is during the 80s, 90s lah. So now as we become more and more developed, as information become more and more readily available, we are able to study the downfall of the bad effect of industrialization. So as we get more and more industrialized, and then as we have more as we make our life more and more comfortable, we are actually uh, using up a lot of energy, and this energy come from this energy, the source of it come from different natural resources that we have. So we burn it up and we use up their energy, and as we burn it, because this is gonna be a very long term, which means that we are gonna be using energy for a very long time to make our life comfortable. More and more studies are being done on all our natural resources. So we found that these natural resources, if we do not think of a way to preserve it, or we do not think of a way to reduce the energy consumption that we have, then in years to come, all these natural resources will be used up lah. So it's a finite resources. So once we use it up, there won't be anymore. So we want to minimize the negative long-term effect on the environment, conserve natural resources such as a fossil fuel, water, forest, and the use of recycled material. So this is environmental sustainability. The idea behind it is good. That is for those country that already advanced lah, means they already build up their city. So it's a bit of a conflict lah when you are talking about third world country who when they want to advance themselves in the society, in the circle of the country. So because the West has already chopped down all the trees and they already advanced themselves, and now those poor countries want to follow suit. So it's a bit of a conflict lah. When those poor countries want to advance themselves, means they want to develop their country. But then the West, maybe the UK, they will come in and say you should not chop off your tree because you are gonna hurt the environment. So this is also a hot topic for debate lah. Okay, so to adopt this concept in new development, meaning when we are developing our country, we want to ensure that these 4 things: the resource consumption will be minimal, the material consumed will be made entirely of 100% recycled material or renewable resources, recycling of waste stream will be 100%, and energy will be conserved and energy supplied will be entirely renewable, non-polluting, solar thermal, electrical, wind power, biomass. So this concept of development, meaning when we want to improve our livelihood, we will need to ensure that all the resource we are using it at a minimal level. And then if you are to consume it, you want to consume it, all of it. So we don't want to waste any bits of it. And if there's anything that is not being utilized, we should be recycling it. So this is the 3 things lah here. And then because we need energy to power up the building or to build up the development or the building, means you have your machinery, you want to use the machinery or the items inside the building that is energy efficient. Either that or you're switching it to other source of energy which is renewable. So this is a key issue in Malaysia, but this is not only in Malaysia lah. So globally, population is always expected to grow. So in Malaysia, we are growing about 1 to 2% of annual growth lah each year, meaning our population is increasing. But all over the world, population are also increasing, and with population, since we are in a city KL, we know that we are able to enjoy the luxury of these services. Means these services are things like we have our artificial lighting, which is a light. We have ventilation, artificial. All of them are also artificial. So it allows us to feel very comfortable in a building. And last but not least, so this is not touched upon, is the internet connection, Wi-Fi. So we are very, in KL, we are very blessed that we have very good coverage in KL. Means you are able to access internet anywhere. But if you were to go to Sabah and Sarawak, so you shouldn't be expecting a very good internet connection there lah. So sometimes you won't even be able to get the telephone signal. So that's the difference between a city and a country lah. So Malaysia should be Malaysia should aim towards urbanizing the country, or at least provide this utility service to the people there lah, to the population there, so that they'll be able to enjoy the benefit to it lah. So the way we plan our cities will be a key component of a sustainable future. So we want to reduce the energy consumption from urban home energy. So this is from car to and from work. And then from 31% for after work. So we want to reduce energy consumption lah, since we are already using it. So here I will say Malaysia will be a net importer of energy by 2020. How much we design our home will reflect how much energy they require to run. So a key issue here, we will never be able to stop our population growth. And then because we are here, we are living our life, our energy demand will also not be reduced. But what we can do is we can change the way we use energy and reduce GHG emission. So when you are seeing this, when you're thinking about energy, so Malaysia is actually self-sufficient. So you can find a lot of information online. So let me just show it to you quickly. So this one is a Malaysian Energy Statistic Handbook. So this is year 2018, which is quite recent. This is by the Suruhanjaya Tenaga Energy Commission. So it's by our Malaysian government. So here for this is a statistics handbook for all the resource that we have, and then it will compile where is all this energy supply is coming from, and where is the usage of it in percentage form lah, for general knowledge for updating. Okay, so annual growth. This is an annual growth, and we have our year indication from 1990s to up to 2016. So here we can see that our energy supply growth is not in a steady amount lah. So it's an up and down. And then our energy consumption also is up and down. But the important part in which you can look at is this. So it's a energy indicator, this is per capita, so per head lah. So you are to look at these two columns. So primary energy supply and the final consumption. So we want to make sure that we are being able to supply more energy than we are to consume. So if that's the case, that means that Malaysia by itself is self-sufficient in generating electricity for our citizens. So we don't need to bring in other natural resources to fuel our lifestyle. So if you were to look at the primary energy supply, there's a slow increment up to year 2016. So during the year 1990, we are supplying 1.2, and then we are consuming 0.73. So for energy consumption, it's also increasing yearly. So now we are ending up with here at 2016. So we are providing about 2.95, and we are using up about 1.81. So the idea behind this, the idea I'm showing it behind to you guys is that as years go by, as our population increase, our energy consumption will certainly increase if we do nothing to it. So from 0.73, it has increased to 1.81. But due to our demand for energy consumption, we will also be growing our energy supply. So from 1.19 to 2.95. So one of the things that all of us need to be aware of is that once we are unable to fully be self-sufficient and importing energy from overseas, then we are actually losing our GDP in our country. So when we become unable to self-sufficient ourselves in the energy consumption, then it will be very bad for our country and also for our environment So energy consumption will keep increasing if we do nothing to it. But if you were to take steps on trying to be sustainable instead of having so much mechanical building services, we are switching it to natural services. Then we'll be easily be able to reduce all this energy consumption. But that's not the only way So energy consumption is happening every day in our life, even if you are in a building, which is we are consuming energy through our building services, our aircon, our fan, our light. And then when we were to hop onto our car, we are also using energy, which is using the car. We are using gasoline to power up our car to go from point A to point B. And then for our phone, we're also using energy. So our phone is running on battery, so we need to charge it. So everything in life is very convenient to us, but it consumes energy. So this is a graph, a figure. So it shows the population of Malaysia is growing. So this is a projection up to year 2030 from 1950 to 2030. So population will always be expected to, in the city, the urban population will always be expected to increase because that's where all the facilities and all the opportunities are. And in rural areas, so it's a curve going down. So because there's no opportunity, people cannot make a living. So that's why the rural population won't be going up. Okay, so this is the green building. So a green building focus on increasing the efficiency of resource use, energy, water, and material, while reducing building impact on human health and environment. So these are the 5 key principle of green or sustainable building. So you want to design a building that save energy, resource, recycle material, minimize the emission of toxic substance, and then harmonize the local climate, tradition, culture, surrounding environment, be able to sustain and improve the quality of human life, and then you have many benefit which is significant operation saving, increase workplace productivity, and you want to send a right message to the company about the company to the population. Okay, so in Malaysia, we have the Green Building Index, which is the GBI. So this is the tool which is used to measure the sustainability of a building. So it's a tool which provide an opportunity for developer and building owner to design and construct green sustainable building. So what we want is energy saving, water saving, a healthy indoor environment, better connectivity to public transport, and adoption of recycling and greenery. So this GBI is actually mostly used by architect lah. So since you guys are QS, it's good to know about it. If you were to just go through on the internet, you can actually find the information readily available. This is GBI developed by PAM and is developed by PAM and then the Association of Consulting Engineering Malaysia, ACEM. So this is GBI. So the GBI tool, based on a different building, they have different criteria. So this is more applicable to architect lah. So when a client propose a project to an architect, and if the authorities require this building to achieve a certain level of GBI, so they will have to select which sort of construction the client are building. So let's say a new construction. So it's developed by PAM and ACEM. So this is a definition which is the same. You can put in the information, and then we have our assessment criteria. So how the GBI works is by rating the building in terms of how it's designed in 6 categories, which is the energy efficiency, the indoor environment quality, sustainable site planning and management, material and resource, water efficiency, and innovation. So if you're able to if you're able to achieve all these criteria, you add up together, it'll be a total of 100 score. So if you are, depending on how high the requirement is from the authority, they might say you need to be gold when you're designing this building, or even platinum. So you have to ensure that the architect will have to ensure that they are designing the building in such a way that they are able to fulfill the criteria in this assessment, so that they'll be able to get the point to reach this GBI index classification. So inside here, it will be a breakdown of how this point is the criteria in which how you achieve the point. So you have your energy efficiency, you have your indoor environment quality. So here, for example, like daylighting. So instead of installing LED lights, artificial lights, if you are able to incorporate a window which enable natural light, which is sunlight, to come into the building, which is daylight. So you have to fulfill a certain percentage, if I'm not mistaken, up to about 40% of daylight into your building, then you'll be achieving a good GPI. You'll be achieving this criteria lah. You'll get point for this criteria. So there's a lot of criteria to achieve. Here. Okay, so here, let's zoom into it. Okay, so it's not 40%. So for daylighting, so is to encourage and recognize design that provide good level of daylighting. So instead of using artificial lighting, which is the LED or the normal lighting that we have, if you are able to have 50% of the habitable space, or even 75%, which will give you 2 marks, means you are able to light up the building inside your space with natural lighting up to 75%, then you will get this 2 point. So the idea is the same for all of these. So you have a lot of criteria to hit to be able to achieve this sort of point, to be able to have your building classified as a green building. So this one is a architect job lah, to ensure that they are able to design a building which is sustainable, because architect will be the one to design the building. They'll be the one who put where the window is, and then they'll be the one to ensure the orientation of how the building will be like, to get the maximum to get the good heat from the sun. And they are also able to they are also able to add all these additional feature like landscaping or water harvesting here. So rainwater harvesting is also leading to green GBI index. And also lastly is the innovation. So for a consultant and engineer and even QS, you guys don't touch about it, but this is just for you. This is just info for you guys. So the one who will be doing this will be the architect. So different building will have different guideline. So the guideline will be all here, and the reference will be here. So this is also easily available online through the government website. So usually the information